Whether you've heard about it or not, it looks like we're starting to see a shift in the Fraser Valley real estate market.
This guy's a realtor. He's obviously going to tell us it's a good time to sell. Yeah, he's probably going to tell us it's a good time to buy too.
Whoa, stop making assumptions. Let me at least get into the video first. So today, I'm going to tell you all about what these shifts are and how it impacts you as a buyer or seller. Stay tuned to find out right after this. What's going on, guys? Alex Dunbar from the Dunbar Real Estate Group and Remax Treeland Realty based out of the Cloverdale, Langley areas. And in this video, I'm going to tell you all about the sudden shift we started to see in the Fraser Valley real estate market. But before I get into it, I'll ask that you do one thing for me, and that's to smash that like button so the algorithm will push this video out to more individuals just like yourself who want to learn more about real estate in the Fraser Valley. I put out videos every single week just like this one, so if you want to learn more about real estate in the Fraser Valley and see community tours, I suggest you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you're notified whenever I put out a new video. But getting right into it, what exactly do I mean when I say the market is shifting? Well, we started to see an influx of new inventory, and it seems like the buyer's demand, even though it's still high, isn't quite the same as it was previously. Now, this isn't to say we're in a buyer's market or even a balanced market at this point in time, but we are starting to trend in the right direction. So as of today, February 22nd, we have nearly 3,000 active listings, whereas on January 31st, we only had 1,800. That means we've seen an increase of 66%, absolutely massive. But unfortunately, this is still nowhere near enough to get us to a balanced market. But at the ground level, myself and many other realtors that I've been speaking with are starting to see some trends. So if you've been a buyer or a seller in the market within the last year, you probably have a pretty good handle on what's going on. For the most part, sellers are listing their homes on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, allowing showings all week and then during the weekend, and holding off on offers until Monday or Tuesday. The most common strategy at this point in time is for sellers to list their property slightly lower than what they actually want to get, which in turn draws a ton of interest to the property, typically getting multiple offers, and many of those coming in subject free. And this has been the most popular and most effective strategy for a little over a year now, but things are starting to change. And before you get upset, you have to understand that listing price is just a marketing strategy. And unfortunately, due to the psychology going on in the market right now, most buyers already have the understanding that they're likely going to have to pay over asking, so they're looking in price ranges below what they can actually afford. So by listing at the price you actually want to get, or even slightly above it, it ends up drawing far less traffic and typically results in a lower selling price. And just remember, a realtor's job is to get their client, the seller, the highest sale price possible. And if you were in the same position as them, you would want to do the same. Now, realtors who list properties way below what they're actually expecting to get is something I'm not a fan of. And in the end, I think this just gives us a bad outlook to the public. So keep that in mind, that there's a big difference between listing a little bit below what you're actually expecting to get and listing hundreds of thousands of dollars below what you think you're gonna get, which I personally refuse to be a part of, because it creates false hope and expectations in several buyers who may not be educated on the market or just see that listing price and think they're going to be able to snag a deal. This also makes it even more important to be working with a realtor who is experienced and in the market on a daily basis and knows the area that you're looking to buy, because they're going to be able to navigate you through the process and help you either avoid these situations or set your expectations up front. But although this strategy from sellers has been extremely successful over the past year or so, it's starting not to work as well. So we're starting to see more properties go into offer presentation date, maybe only getting one or two offers, and some of them not getting any. And in many cases, the sellers have such high expectations that they don't even actually accept those offers. And a lot of the time, they're over asking and even potentially record breaking. So we're starting to see a little bit more of a tug of war between buyers and sellers, with sellers not wanting to give up any of the sale price of their home, but buyers not wanting to pay these extremely high prices. Now, I will mention that the nicer renovated turnkey properties and the ones that are a little bit more rare are still selling just like that for top dollar. Some examples of these would be larger townhomes with side-by-side garages and have 3 or more bedrooms, as well as larger, nicely renovated condos, typically over the 1,000 square foot mark, and detached homes with 1 or 2 suites. Additionally, townhomes with a master on the main.
My I still allowed to say that?
Well, in all honesty, primary on the main just doesn't have the same ring to it, but I do want to stay politically correct. Now, looking at some of the less attractive properties, maybe those that need a bit more TLC or are located on a busy street, these are the ones that are struggling a little bit. While previously, since there was such low inventory, they were just getting snapped up like that because people didn't have any other options. Now that there's more inventory on the market, they're more often than not getting overlooked. Now, slowly, week after week, I'm starting to see more sellers resort back to the old listing price strategy. And this would be where you actually list the property at what you want it for and don't hold off on offers. The majority of properties are still using that same strategy that I previously mentioned, where they are holding off. However, as I said, we are starting to see it go back more and more. So in the coming weeks and months, I expect this to continue. So it's more important than ever that you have your expectations set right as both a buyer and a seller. So here's a couple tips for you if you're a buyer. You want to look for properties that aren't holding off on offers until an offer presentation date. This is something that your realtor will be able to do for you, but you just have to make sure you're on top of your property search every single day. Because when an opportunity presents itself, you want to make sure you're ready to go just like that. That means that you've already spoken with a bank or your mortgage broker and you've got your pre-approval ready, and that there's nothing else that's going to stop you from pulling the trigger if the right property comes up. You're also going to want to keep an eye out for listings that have been in the market for more than 10 to 14 days. Now, when properties are officially sold, sometimes it does take a little bit of time to be processed through the real estate board system, but your realtor will be able to follow up with the listing agent, or they'll be able to see on the back end whether it's already been sold. Listings that have been on the market for this period of time have already been seen by buyers, and typically they're only looking at new listings coming to the market. And this means it can create a great buying opportunity for you. You're also going to want to follow up with properties that do have an offer presentation date. So on the day of, you're going to want to make sure your realtor is checking in to see if they receive any offers, and if they don't, then there's a great opportunity there for you. When properties go through this offer presentation date and don't end up getting anything, that's when you want to make sure you're ready to pounce right away, because this is going to allow you to not have to compete with others, and it's likely going to score you a better price. Now, on the other side of the coin, let's go over some tips for sellers right now. Well, first of all, you're going to have to adjust your expectations. For the majority of properties, we're not seeing 50, 60, 70 showings and 10, 15, 20 offers. Now, that's not to say that this can't happen. However, we're seeing it less and less. And as I mentioned, if you have that turnkey property in the beautiful neighborhood at the end of a cul-de-sac, maybe you will still get these kind of results. But if it's more of an average property or a cookie cutter condo, I wouldn't be expecting it. And please keep in mind that most people have some sort of an emotional attachment to their homes, and this means that they typically think it's worth more than it is, at least when comparing it to comparable properties. You just need to make sure that you're taking an objective approach and not getting caught up in your emotions. So the key as a seller is to discuss with your realtor and come up with the best listing price strategy. If you have one of these highly attractive properties, maybe you can still list a little bit low, hold off on offers, and draw a lot of traction. But if you do have more of an average property and there's tons of other listings in your neighborhood, you're probably going to want to list it closer to what you actually want. And at that point in time, you'll also want to consider taking offers as they come. Keep in mind that pricing appropriately from the start is the most important thing that you can do. During the first 2 weeks, you're always going to get the most amount of attention on your home, and this is typically when you're going to get the best sale price. After this 2-week period, typically your number of showings are going to go down, and a lot of people think those properties are stigmatized and they wonder why they've been sitting on the market. And even if you're to relist or adjust the price, realtors can still go into the history and see that you've done that and let their clients know. So having a plan in place from the start is the most important thing you can do. And that's about going to do it for today's video. But if you did enjoy it, I'll ask that you do one thing for me, and that's to hit that like button. And if you're interested in seeing more future real estate videos just like this one, I suggest you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you're notified whenever I put out a new video. To conclude, I genuinely do hope that we see this trend continue with an influx of inventory and hopefully work our way towards more of a balanced market. Because what's been going on for the last 6 to 12 months is not healthy at all for the real estate market. And at the end of the day, it's not really fun for people in the market either. Unless you're selling and moving out of town or downsizing, it's an absolute nightmare trying to buy in the same market. So while there are some sellers that have chosen to do this and have cashed out on their properties, the large majority haven't been able to make a move. And if we do return to more of a balanced market, this just makes everyone's life a little bit easier. And before I end this video, if you are looking to buy or sell in Surrey, Langley, or the rest of the Fraser Valley, I'd be more than happy to help or at least have a conversation with you. You can scroll down, click the first link, and book a call with me at your convenience. Once again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.